No Maid Haere mai and welcome to Frogs on Friday. I'm Shannon Barlow, Managing Director for Frog Recruitment. Today we are looking at the changes in wages. There's been a lot in the news recently about starting to see those increases filtering through and what that means in terms of considering a career change. We will go through our hot jobs as usual, as well as look at the polls from last week and spin out another one for this week. So let's go to Mahi Media. Okay, so earlier this week, SEEK came out with a report saying that there have been some massive pay increases in particular sectors, so particularly manufacturing, construction, those types of areas, with some wages increasing by up to 33%. So I was asked the question on, is now the ideal time for people to consider a career change? Now, this part didn't make it on air. What I actually said was, it depends. If you work for Frog, absolutely not. Stay where you are. But it could be a good time to consider either that career change or to be able to look at improving your situation. So now employers' biggest challenge, as I've spoken about before, is securing new talent and retaining employees. So it's absolutely the best time to improve your situation, which may mean changing your career to a higher paid role or industry, but it could also mean working with your employer to improve job satisfaction and other benefits. So that could include flexible working, career developments, and training. I've said it before, so now is definitely the time for employees to apply a bit of pressure, as conditions have never been better to ask for a pay rise. So I just have a few, I've spoken further on this, but I've just got a few tips today for negotiating a pay rise. The first one is to know your market. So really take the time to do your research. That may mean finding out what others are being offered for similar roles, and also to look at what's happening in your business and to acknowledge if they've done a really great job of looking after you and the rest of the staff throughout COVID and retaining your roles. Ask or consider, is the business in a position to increase? And if they are, then it's a great time to ask those questions. The second tip would be to be transparent and professional. So if you're considering other opportunities for more pay, it's okay to let your current employer know that, but you want to do that in a very considered way. You don't want to sound like you're holding them for ransom. It definitely needs to come across as opening up a discussion rather than laying out an ultimatum. And the last tip is to prepare and practice. So the first thing is to gather some evidence of your performance. So making your case for why you should have a pay rise. And that may mean looking at benchmarking information, how long it was since your last increase. And I'd recommend practicing either with a friend or in front of the mirror. I know everybody loves role plays, right? That's a lie. Nobody likes role plays, but it does help for the real life conversation to have practiced that and to know that you're going to cover off all your key talking points. So it'd be really interesting to see how those discussions go. And as I said, we are starting to see those salaries increase across the board. Let's go now and have a look at some of the jobs that we have on offer. Okay, so first up is a payroll administrator. Actually, Shaveneel, who'll be on the show later this morning, and I are looking after this role together. So it's looking for a busy business within the healthcare sector, and it does involve a lot of data entry and manual processes. So they're looking for someone who has a good understanding of the payroll function, so they understand what they're inputting, but that accuracy and speed is going to be really important for this one. This one can actually be based at either Albany or the CBD, so lots of options for a payroll admin position in Auckland. Okay, what's next? Keeping on the payroll theme, we have a payroll specialist role. So this one is at a much higher level. It's a 3-month temp position, and there is some flexibility here. You can either work from the office, which is based in Newmarket, or there are work from home options. So some flexibility there. This one, you need a solid understanding of payroll so that you can run that function as a standalone for the New Zealand business. So definitely need experience working with NZ payroll. There will also be some projects involved based around the payroll. So if you have any experience in that, that's going to be a bonus. If you're interested in this role, either contact myself or Simi. And last up, we have a supply chain planner position. So this one is a permanent role based in East Auckland, looking at between 60 to 80,000 based on experience. So this one's a nice chunky 6-month role, and again with flexible work options, and covering a range of duties including procurement, purchasing, inventory, and order management. For this one, you should contact Hemi in our office here in Auckland if you're interested. Okay, so that's just a sample of the roles there, and I believe we've got a video featuring one of our other roles.
Kia ora Auckland, Shaveneel at Frog Recruitment here. We are looking for our next customer service champions to help with the range of temporary and permanent roles we are currently recruiting for. We are working closely with healthcare-based companies to find them the next customer service champions. Locations-wise, we are looking for people that are willing to travel to Albany, CBD, Mount Wellington area. And in terms of salary, it will be somewhere between about $25 to $27 per hour. If that seems like something you're interested in, feel free to give me a call on 09362 0781, or alternatively send me an email with your CV at shaveneel@frogrecruitment.co.nz. I would also recommend to have a look, because have a look on our website, as it will show you in detail a bit more about the roles as well.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in the job front, and as always, it's just a selection of the many roles that we have, and we're always getting new positions, both temporary and permanent, called through every week, just about every day at the moment. So maybe you're considering a career change. So we have Shaveneel here today to be able to give some tips on what you should consider if you are looking at moving roles and companies.
Kia ora, team. Thanks for joining us this lovely day. In terms of career changes and things, I would say there's these 3 major things you should think about while you're looking for a career change. First of all, you should start off by thinking about, if you don't know where to start, you go ahead and identify what you really need to change. You need to be clear about what the problem is. You may not need a full-on change to get into the space that you want. If it's your boss or co-workers, think about switching departments. If it's the whole place, leave the people behind and do similar work. Elsewhere, if you have exhausted all options, then it's time to shore up your resume. Second, A factor you can look into is bring all your experience and knowledge with you. Your experience can boost your confidence and be used as a negotiation tool. Um, there is usually a misconception that when you start a new career, you're starting from square one. Well, in fact, that's not actually the case. Bringing those transferable skills from your previous roles and qualifications can help you hit the ground running for your next new position, and help you in advance. Um, and lastly, I would recommend to maybe consider new jobs in the same industry. Consider alternative roles within your current industry, which would be used, which you can use your industry knowledge to build upon. For example, if you're a store manager for a large retail chain, and have grown a bit tired of evening and weekend works, it might be considered to move to more of a corporate recruiting setting within the retail industry. Um, Thank you.
Excellent. Sounds like you're trying to recruit a new retail consultant for our team there, Shav. I like your work there. Always good to look at these options.
Definitely
But some
is.
great tips there. I like that the advice is to look at all your options, and that may mean looking at things that you can do to improve where you are now, and just making them aware of that as well. So
Yeah,
some great tips there. Thank you, Shaveneel.
thank
Okay,
you.
let's go to the poll from last week. So we asked, how would you describe your salary, or perhaps your feelings toward your salary, in light of all the talking about recent increases? So we had, it's pretty even spread here. So just coming out on top at 28% says that it doesn't reflect the workload. So we've talked previously about burnout and how, unfortunately, it hasn't gone away with the lockdowns and is still a thing this year. So perhaps that's reflecting through where the salary was okay beforehand, but doesn't quite take into account all the extra hours and the extra work that you're doing now. So those are some things to consider when you're building up your case for a pay rise. Be sure to mention those factors as well. Okay, what do we have this week? Now, we've talked about the boomerang effect and whether or not people would consider going back to their old role or job or company. So what would convince you to return? So whether that's the new manager or boss, is it better pay, same co-workers, you really like the team, but something else was off? Or no, absolutely not. Can't go backwards to go forwards. So love to see your thoughts on there. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them into the chat. Or if you're watching afterwards, to place in the comments, and we'll be sure to address those next week as well. Well, great to see you again this week on another beautiful sunshiny day in Tamaki Makaurau. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next Friday. Ka kite anō.